So hi everyone, I'm here with Yoni Alon, the entrepreneur who stands behind the project of David Cards. How are you, Yoni?
I'm doing great. I'm happy to be here and talk about this wonderful project.
So tell us, how did this project initially begin?
So I was an Israeli emissary, shaliach, of the Jewish Agency for Israel at the Denver JCC in 2013. And I was invited to a Jewish seminar in New York, actually done by the JCCA. And they showed us a very interesting program that presented us with many different posters, that in all of them you had the same illustration. There was some kind of a character there interacting with planet Earth, interacting with the globe. And it was hugging it, it was wrestling with planet Earth, it was stepping on it. And it created a very interesting conversation about global warming and about the environment. And then I looked at it and I said, like the Jewish entrepreneur I am, and I said, let's replace planet Earth with the symbol of the Star of David. And let's invite this kind of conversation, but not about the environment, rather about Jewish identity and Israel. And that's how it initially started.
Wow, fascinating. And do you do this project alone? Do you have any partners?
So this is a joint venture, you could say, a joint project with the Jewish Agency for Israel. And I enjoyed their support. The illustrator behind these wonderful illustrations is Sapir Wiener Aviv, an artist from Jerusalem. I come up with most of the ideas, but also the Jewish Agency brings some ideas. Sapir, the artist itself, also brings some of the ideas. And this is how we created so far we created 60 illustrations. In the box there are 40 illustrations, 40 cards that invite this really great conversation about Israel and Judaism.
And what is the current distribution of the cards? Which organizations are using it? How many people?
So currently there are almost 5,000 copies out there in a bit over 20 countries. Most of it is in Israel, it's in the US, a little bit in Canada. We got some exotic places. I'm getting emails and also pictures of Jewish teenagers using it in Tokyo, Japan, in Taipei, in Morocco, in all kind of very, very interesting places. But I'm not satisfied yet. I want this product to reach many more places and many more Jewish communities all over the world, really.
I have a bit of a marketing question for you. You ready? So what is your product exactly? What is the solution you're trying to give? What is the problem you're trying to solve?
So the issue is this. Many Jewish educators out there are looking for a way to turn conversations about Israel and Judaism to a much more, I would say, pleasant experience. How can we take these complicated issues, Israel and what it means to be Jewish, and invite a much more friendly conversation about it, a conversation that everyone can relate to without the need to know any basic background or basic information or prior knowledge. And I think this is what the cards are doing. Once you show all of them, you present all of the cards, it could be on the floor, it could be on a table, and you start a conversation with all kinds of questions, which I suggest in the box, all of a sudden a very interesting conversation begins. Almost everyone has something to say, whether they love Israel, whether they hate Israel. As long as they have some kind of a relationship with either Israel or Judaism, they will have something to say about these cards.
And who do you consider as the target audience of these cards?
So everywhere there's Jewish education, I think they should have a set of David cards. It could be synagogues, Jewish day schools, Hebrew schools, Jewish summer camps, youth movements. This has even been used in board meetings of Jewish federations in North America. I'm getting these emails that a board member in a Jewish federation somewhere brought a box and he put it on a table, and all of the board members started debating. This is my card. No, this is my card. This is my Israel for me is this. I think that if you have something to say about Israel or Judaism, these cards will be interesting for you.
Let's talk a little bit about the illustrations. What is the story? Some of them are also very intense. So what is your perspective about that?
So it was important for me not to create a set full of positive images, but also some complicated images. Some of them are a bit negative, I would say. For example, I can show you that here, you have an illustration of someone that is not necessarily happy. This is not necessarily positive. We have someone here that is thinking. what do I think about Israel? What do I think about Judaism? Because this is life. This is what happens in life. Or you have this illustration, a very popular one that called for a lot of reactions. How do I view the issue of the Holocaust, the stories of the Holocaust, the memories of what happened in that dark period of my people? Maybe one of my family relatives survived the Holocaust, and it's an essential piece of what it means to be Jewish, the memory of the Holocaust. So this is also in the set.
Well, let's talk about that a little bit more. I understand that some people can look at the same illustration and see something different. So can you give an example for that?
Yeah. So for example, I'll show you a very interesting card, relatively new in the set. I call it the Christmas card. And this card is receiving a variety of responses. For example, maybe an Orthodox Jew who is a bit more conservative in his opinions would look at it, and it will automatically bring some negative thoughts and some negative opinions about what happens to the Jewish people, about interfaith couples, and so on. On the other hand, maybe in a synagogue in the West Coast, for example, I will show this card in a synagogue, and some families will tell me, this is my family story. We are an interfaith couple, and this is what happens on Hanukkah in our home, with the Christmas tree and Hanukkah candles. And the last response I would mention is some Israelis will look on this card and say, this is me. I am a Russian Jew. And you made a card about the holiday of Novi God. And it's so nice of you to think about the Novi God. I didn't think about the Novi God. I just created this. And this is the responses I get. And I was very surprised. And I'm happy that this is the responses I'm getting.
So except just the cards, is there anything else in the box?
So there are 40 cards. There is a wonderful educational booklet in Hebrew and English that provides all kind of ways of using this set, all kind of questions you can ask. It's already translated into Spanish, French, Russian, German, and many more languages are coming on the way. There is also a quick start guide. If you don't want to read the booklet, you can just take the quick start guide and start reading and using the cards. And it's from one version to another, the product gets better and better.
Now, I understand that after the project started getting traction, you started hearing some surprising stories. Can you share some of them?
Yeah, so first of all, initially this project started as posters, but eventually, it turned into cards. That's one thing. People told me, don't do the posters thing. Let's use it as cards. That's one thing. The other thing I would say is that people started using the cards not just by presenting them and asking the participants to choose a card and share why did they choose. They also started using it as a storytelling tool. So they would ask the participants, choose a card that represents yourself, but then divide into groups of 5, let's just say, and create stories with the cards you picked. Which card begins the story? Which card opens the story? Which one ends it? What happens in the middle of the story? And then come up, stand in front of the class and present the stories you created using the cards. Also, I started getting emails from parents that are using the cards to talk to their kids about Israel and Judaism. I didn't think about it. I created a tool for Jewish educators, and all of a sudden I'm thinking, I'm getting this feedback, and then I'm realizing parents are also Jewish educators. I didn't think about it.
I love that. So I hear there are thoughts about the family version.
So yeah, family version is on its way. The family version is going to be smaller because usually the home setting doesn't require large cards as these. So the cards are going to be smaller. The questions are going to be different. Perhaps we're going to have less cards in each box, and it's going to be much more parents-oriented relationship between parents and children, and it's on its way. Yeah.
I love that. So tell me, how do you use the cards?
Okay, so what actually happens in the basic use of this product is that the educator will present all of them. It can be on the table, it can be on the floor. Some of them put it on the walls of the room. And then you start asking questions. When you look on all of these illustrations, where do you see your relationship with Judaism? Or when you look on all of these illustrations, where do you see your relationship with Israel? And as an educator, you can take it into a place of connection but you can also take it into a much more emotional place that actually creates very interesting conversations. And you can ask, which one of these cards make you upset? Which one of these cards bring up a childhood memory or a family memory? Then all of a sudden people get much more soft and they choose a card and they share something very intimate. So, people ask me, is it a game? I'm saying it's not a game. It's a discussion tool to create interesting conversations about Israel and about what it means to be Jewish today.
So a bit of a hard question. How did October 7 affect this project?
So, first of all, the effect was tremendous. I got a lot of requests for more and more sets from many Jewish organizations. Many organizations were looking for different ways to talk about Judaism and to talk about Israel in light of what happened on October 7, in light of what happened on that terrible day and the war. There are 5 illustrations in the box that were created, or I would say inspired by the events of October 7. And I think many Jewish individuals out there, because of the war, are now looking for new ways to talk about what it feels for them to be Jewish, what it means to them to be Jewish today after October 7. And many of them are addressing David cards to get some answers or to help them to find the answers.
Okay, last question. What is your long-term vision for this project? Where do you see it heading?
So I would like to see David cards present in every synagogue, in every Jewish summer camp, in every Jewish day school, everywhere there is Jewish education being done, everywhere there is a brave conversation being done about Israel. I want to see a set of David cards there. And I think we are heading that direction, slowly but surely.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Yoni.
Thank you very much. It was my pleasure to bring you into the world of David cards.
Love that.